Now it might be time to go to bare knuckle or something like that. I think that's. Listen, let him go. He has the WBO International now. Let him go be a champion. Obviously, I go talk to my team and stuff, but I think maybe 12 rounds might be too much for me now. You know, I started fading in the later rounds. I hurt my knee. I hurt my ankle. You know, and it's not because of It's not because I don't know, but it's because it's just getting too long, I think. So I think for now, I'll go to bare knuckle, do something else, and let the young guys take over.
Attention, this video will contain spoiler alerts. Jack Catterall versus Regis Prograis. Now, let me get the spoilers right out. You clicked on the video. Jack Catterall beat Regis Prograis via decision in the UK. I'm going to break down the fight, what I seen in the fight. The right man won. Jack Catterall, he did his thing. Now, I usually give you guys the good, the bad, the ugly. I don't really have too much that's good or great. I mean, the fight to me was okay. I expected more. Regis Prograis, you know, he did a lot of talking about what he was going to do. And I'm not going to say he didn't try, because obviously he did try, but it wasn't the type of performance that inspired or like kind of went in line with what he was saying. Jack Catterall fought a very patient fight, maybe even too much so. So I want to talk about more of the bad and the ugly in the fight. The fight was mid to me. A lot more in terms of like the talk and the venom and the vitriol from Regis Prograis. A lot of that didn't show up. I think it is very evident that I am the best in the business, and it's not even close. I was doing round by round commentary on my Twitter page, so make sure you follow my social media links in the description. I don't know what the UK commentators were talking about. I don't know what the people of boxing Twitter were talking about regarding this fight, but it is very, very apparent to me most don't know ish about boxing. I was seeing all types of commentary that said Regis Prograis was doing this and he was touching up Jack Catterall and this and that. I did not see it. I think Regis performed pretty poorly in this particular fight, and I don't think he looked good. And if you go look at my Twitter, the timestamps are all there. I'm saying this in real time. Despite almost everybody on the timeline, from boxing media people to hardcore boxing fans, they were saying Regis Prograis was looking good. So I don't know what you guys are watching. I just know I'm the best in the business, and it's not even close. Regis Prograis didn't look good. I think the reason, because I don't just give problems, I give solutions. For me, the reason why I don't think Regis Prograis looked great is in the earlier rounds, he had the most energy, which makes sense. The fight just started. He was trying to be uber aggressive, but it was too wild. It was wide. It was wild. It was not strategic, to the point where I can't even tell you how many rounds where he's like punching into the ropes. At one moment in this fight, he punched so hard, the velocity like spun him around and he fell to the ground. And it's just a total waste of energy, and you're burning senseless energy and reserves that you may need in the later portion of the fight on stupidity, because the shots where you throw wild with all force and all that and you don't connect on the target actually takes up more energy than when you land on the target, right? Like spinning yourself around, and then natural fatigue, unless you're on something like a PED, natural fatigue starts to set in, and that's that. So it's such a waste of energy how Regis Prograis was fighting. He was fighting like he was trying to really make a statement because he performed poorly in the Devin Haney fight and his fight before that, right? Which we'll get to in a moment. So he was like overcompensating, and to me, it was leaving many, many openings. Now, he's lucky that he was in there with a Jack Catterall, somebody who's kind of a workman-like fighter. He doesn't have exceptional power. He doesn't have exceptional speed. You know, he's not exceptionally big, anything like that. He doesn't have like freakishly long arms. He's just a good tactical southpaw with some good experience and a work a workman. I call them workmen like a worker bee. Like guys like that can beat you just off of staying disciplined with the strategy and having basics, right? So that's what I seen from Jack Catterall. And I thought Regis was doing too much, like punching and falling to the ground, swinging wildly and missing. And I knew, and if you go look at my social media, you'll see this. I was like, Jack Catterall's patience basically will pay off for him because he's not getting hit with nothing malicious or too crazy. And it's just, when I think of boxing, I think of, or life in general. Like, let's say you want to be successful. You got to do that in which is sustainable, right? Like, imagine you haven't been working out in 2 years and you want to get back in the gym. So you try to, what happens is people will try to front load it and go crazy in the gym for a week and, you know, stay in the gym 4 hours trying to make up for lost time and stuff like that. That's not sustainable, especially when you have kids or a job. So what's gonna happen is you're gonna end up burning yourself out by trying to do too much too soon, and it's just not sustainable. So for me, my approach, I always think of the big picture, not the small picture. And I love a good long-term strategy because long-term strategies are generally more sustainable than being short-sighted and just doing something like burning a bunch of energy in boxing and then you have nothing and you're flat the second half of the fight, which is exactly what I predicted and exactly what happened to Regis Prograis. It's just dumb. So instead of going to the gym and doing too much when you haven't been working out, go to the gym, you know, just put your gym clothes on, go for 30 minutes, do a light walk, you know, work your way back into the gym. That is far more encouraging and less discouraging. Again, people do too much and then they wake up in tons of pain and they're like, oh man, I feel crazy. And then you get discouraged. You don't even want to go back to the gym because you're so beat up in day 2 or 3 or whatever. So Regis Prograis, his plan wasn't sustainable. I called that, and that's exactly what happened. Second half of the fight, Regis Prograis was totally flat, right? He was flat. He was doing the same missing and wild, but he was just a lot more flat-footed. His legs looked stiff. He got dropped violently 2 times, and he was badly hurt. And I don't know if he messed up his ankle or knee. He kind of alluded to that at the end of the fight, but I called that too on my social media. I was like, something's up with his leg well before the 12th round because his legs looked very stiff. And I thought it was bad corner work. After he got dropped violently in round 9 and it looked like he was on the verge of being stopped, his corner told him, hey, you got to get that back and basically be aggressive. This is poor corner advice because when your fighter is badly hurt, like he literally got hurt the second time in the last stanza, like the last 10 seconds of round 9, and he got dropped and he slowly got up and staggered as he was getting up. So to tell him to like basically go for broke was poor corner advice. You don't even know if your fighter if he has his legs, if they're clear-headed. So I didn't really understand that game plan. Fortunate for Regis Prograis that it was Jack Catterall, because other more confident guys, like guys who are more confident in their power and stuff like that, I think Regis would have been stopped for sure. But Jack Catterall was like patient to a fault, which I said earlier in this video. And, you know, it just went to the decision and he was never able to really duplicate the round 9 because he didn't really press. I truly think if he pressed, he could have got more done, but I don't think that's his nature. And I think he just stuck with the game plan because, you know, it makes sense. At the end of the day, you should be up on the scorecards at that round 9 point. So you don't want to do too much. And if you do too much, you end up giving him the only opportunity he has to come back, which is like some home run knockout. And I said, he's not no special effects Catterall. He's just a worker like fighter. So he just stuck with the game plan. So I can't really be mad at that. But it would have been more sensational and more emphatic if he was more confident in his ability to stop and stuff like that. But Regis previously talked about beating Gervonta Davis. I never seen that. And especially after his last 3 performances, like I said, Devin performance, flat. He got shut out. The Devin Haney win now ages like spoiled milk instead of wine, because Jack Catterall just knocked him down even worse and beat him with really no struggle and strife, and he didn't look massively bigger. Like Devin Haney has to gain 25 pounds to do what he did. Jack Catterall looked maybe even a little bit smaller than Regis Prograis. And then post-fight, Regis Prograis said that he's fought the best, meaning Devin Haney's and the Jack Catterall, and he gave it up. He said, at the end of the day, I believe Jack Catterall was the best that I fought. So meaning he didn't physically say Devin Haney, but he says, I fought the best and you're the best. So that's high praise from Regis Prograis, who also said his time in boxing may be done. He may do other things like bare knuckle, which is a little bit weird. He said it's hard for him to go 12 rounds and he was flat and the better man won. So he took the loss gracefully, but ultimately a lot of you guys were getting gassed in the early rounds because Regis Prograis was trying, but I seen the flaw in the game plan. It wasn't sustainable. It was wild. It was kind of unprovoked. His footwork looked bad. He does this thing where he like flicks out a jab. He doesn't have long arms. He has like T-Rex arms that he's like, shush, shush, shush. And he's not even in range to land. You're just burning up. What is the point of that? You're just flicking out this fast jab that, I mean, I guess it would be hard if it connected, but you're nowhere in range to connect it. And he'll do it like 3 to 5 times. That's waste. That's a waste of punches. And I study people like Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee was very big on this. That's why he created Jeet Kune Do. He says that he took the best of, Western boxing and karate and different forms of martial arts, and he took the best bits and he tried to discard the inessentials. So part of that is no wasted movements and, just really get rid of anything in your game plan that doesn't need to be there. Regis Prograis didn't get that Bruce Lee lesson because he had a lot of wasted movement and a lot of wasted energy. So it looks like, I don't know, retirement, but at the top level, you could argue that Regis Prograis lost his last 3 fights. So with his age and, how he's looking, picking up injuries, looking completely flat on the second portion of the fight, it looks like Regis is done at top level, because he said he had a great camp. He said that everything was clicking. He was feeling it. He talked a little bit of trash, but now, he has all of his fights. Like it looks like the rematch room curse continues. Since he got with Eddie Hearn, all of his performances have been bad. Just think about it. He fought Zorilla, which was his first fight with rematch room. It was a hometown fight, and he gets dropped in that fight. And then I think they said it was a slip, but he really got dropped, and a lot of people thought he lost the fight, including myself. Then he fights Devin Haney. He loses, and he gets dropped in that fight and hurt in that fight. And then he gets dropped and hurt multiple times in round 9 and, hit with big shots by Catterall. So basically, his whole career with Eddie Hearn in rematch room has been all like failure. You could literally argue that he has 3 L's in a row, 3 LW. I'm getting a little tired of your broken promises. He got 3 LWs. You know what I mean? So, hate to be harsh, but that's what it is.